Scott.
Hi.
Next video game plot twist blew your mind.
Well, I'll tell you what, now I've got a bit of a history with this one. In terms of, I was looking forward to it for so long. The Last of Us 2's death of someone. We're going to do spoilers. I'm going to say death of someone right here. A lot of people already know that this is the case. But Joel dies in that game. And leading up to that game, there was a whole bunch of leaks or proposed leaks. Around that game, there was all these different conversations on what the story's going to be, etc. And in that moment, when Joel finally got killed by Abby, I celebrated because it meant that none of those leaks were true. All the other leaks before then meant something else in regards to, oh, Joel's going to do this, and Joel's going to kill Abby, and Joel's going to do this. So, and I thought I'd been ruined for weeks going into this. And so when the reveal happened, when that specific scene happened, I was extremely gutted. I was very sad. I love Joel as much as the next person, but I was also unbelievably excited because it then meant what the living hell is the rest of this game. And that in the moment completely broke my mind as to what could we possibly do for the rest of this game. And obviously the way that whole thing plays out, it was one of the most enjoyable stories in gaming, but I just love that realization in the moment of, oh my god, if this is happening now, like 2 hours in or something, what the hell have they got for the next 30, 40 hours?
That's amazing. Leaks can ruin games for you. In this case,
somehow it made it better.
Experience.
Yeah, which makes no sense, but in that case,
so
yes.
really the leaker did a good thing.
In that case, just for me, just for little old me, I was a big fan. Just keep killing Joel. It's fine.
I'm going to go with Silent Hill 2. Because I think it was probably one of the earliest games. Like, there are video games where you play as the good guy, obviously. There are video games where you know you're playing as the bad guy. There aren't that many video games where you get to a point and you go, oh, I'm an asshole, basically. Like, there is a lot of teases for it, but when you get to a certain point in Silent Hill 2 and you find out what James Sunderland has done, which I don't even think I need to say at this point, the game's old enough, and if you haven't seen it, you'll find out soon in the remake, you're going to go, yeah, he's kind of a bag, but like, the immediate scene afterwards is what really hits you because they have him sitting in this chair and the camera pans around slowly and it's just music, nothing else. You can't skip it. And it just kind of leaves you with this character just sort of thinking over what you've seen. And it sort of makes you think about it from all different perspectives because, yeah, he did a horrible thing, but you could kind of understand why, even if he went very much too far. Like, you can sort of see his perspective before his mind broke. So, yeah, I was just really impressed with it at the time. I was like, that's really cool. And for me, it's just one of those video game moments that just has never really been topped very much. Like, and people don't talk about it as much as they should. And again, hopefully the remake will make people start talking about it again because it's high art.
What do you think of Jim Sunderland's new face?
That's what he looks like. That's about it.
He does.
I don't know. Maybe it won't be as good when you can see every single facial expression. Maybe it's better leaving it up to your imagination with the PS2 graphics. I guess we'll find out.
So my pick for the biggest video game plot twist that blew my mind, I want to go back to like 2009, I'm going to say, to, if you can't already guess, Pokemon. And we're going to talk about a little game called Heart Gold and Soul Silver if you played the other version. But yeah, I'm talking about Pokemon again. Once you have beaten the Elite Four in Johto, you go and get on the SSN and it allows you to go back to Kanto, and then there's this whole other like post-game content that you get to go through, challenging all the gym leaders and then beating the Elite Four there. And once you've done all that, you go and talk to Professor Oak and he's like, yeah, this new area has opened up. Here's the HM for rock climb. Go and explore Mount Silver. So as a kid, I was like, yeah, let's do this. There's probably a cool legendary Pokemon at the top. What's not to love? So you scale up Mount Silver, and when you get to the top, it's all snowy and ominous, like the music's just faded out and all you can hear is the wind just blowing in the distance. And then you walk up to the top and you see none other than Red, the protagonist from the original Pokemon games. And this blew my mind as a kid, like, hold on, I'm Gold and I'm now taking on my past self, the person I played as in the original Pokemon games. Well, in my case, it was Leaf Green, Fire Red. But yeah, this came out of nowhere, and even to this day, I'm like, this is incredible. This is an incredible plot twist that I wish kind of had have carried on throughout all the other Pokemon games. Like, you should be able to go back and battle previous protagonists in every new Pokemon game. Like, how cool would that be? So you talk to Red, and he obviously doesn't say anything back to you, and then he challenges you to a Pokemon battle. And I believe, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this is the most powerful trainer, like AI trainer, that you actually face in the entirety of the Pokemon series. In this fight, I'm not gonna lie, when I first played it, I was a little bit underleveled and like I got my ass whooped, and it was incredible. So it like encourages you to go and train your Pokemon up a little bit more, and now you're like, yeah, I'm gonna beat Red, I'm gonna beat my past self. Yeah, this thing just blew my mind as a kid, and it may not be a huge plot twist like compared to some of the other entries on the list, but you were never expecting it as a Pokemon fan because you had never done anything like that up until this point. And yeah, I just love Pokemon. If you can't already tell.
What's cracking?
Anytime, it's fine. What video game plot twist broke your mind?
Scott, as you know, I'm a big fan of God of War Ragnarok, and God of War 2018 had a lot of lovely little twists and turns in the tale, and I was wondering, going into the sequel, will they have something up their sleeves big enough to top what came before? And they bloody did. As you might know, God of War Ragnarok introduces a long-awaited character called Tyr, who is this mythical being who is hyped up so much in the first game, but you never see him. Apparently he's dead, he's disappeared, but he was this leader, he was this warrior. He was a guy whose reputation preceded him. And then the trailers for God of War Ragnarok showed that he was in the game, and I remember going into the sequel thinking, what a strange thing to do, to reveal this huge character in the trailers. Isn't that a huge surprise for the game? And then the game unfolds and you take Tyr into your group early on, but he's not the Tyr that you expect. He is cowardly. He has kind of shunned his warrior ways. He is the exact opposite of the Tyr that was described in the original game. And you're kind of thinking, okay, this is it's not what I was expecting, but this is really cool. All the way throughout the two God of War games so far, their entire gimmick has been separating mythology from the real person that you can meet in the games, and I just thought they were doing that again. You know, this is a guy who had this narrative written about him, but that's not actually who he was, and I thought, that's really interesting. But then as the game goes on, he kind of doesn't really have an arc. He's constantly cowardly. At a point where their home is being besieged by demons, he kind of comes out in a shield, and then everyone kind of yells at him and says, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't even attack these undead creatures when they literally come for your friends at home. And he's like, yeah, sorry, you know, don't mind me, I'm just going to go back and chill in my room for a bit. Of course, this is all building up to the big reveal that he's not Tyr at all, but he's the main villain of the game, Odin in disguise, who has been living literally with you for the entire game, sniffing out all of your plans, preempting them, and manipulating you from behind the scenes. And I just think it's brilliant the way they do it, because I never questioned it once, even though they were giving me red flags at every opportunity to smash it into your face that this is not Tyr. This is not the guy you thought he was. He is, he is failing you at every turn. He is not living up to the person you wanted him to be. And you just kind of accept it. You don't question it, because why would you? You can see the reality in your eyes, and then that gets a guy killed. And that ruins every nice thing that you had. And it is brutal, and it is mind-blowing, and you think, you son of a bitch, you've done it again!
Which video game plot twist broke your mind?
It's gonna be a darn tootin' example here, Scott Tailford. It's not really rooting because it made me sad.
It did.
And it's Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's the bit where you discover that Arthur Morgan has tuberculosis.
Oh no.
That moment is so well done, because I remember going into it that I was, I was trying to take really good care of my Arthur, take him out for walks, make sure that he's eating all the good food, getting the nice sexy baths all over, the map and stuff.
Yeah, no
and then I kept on checking like the stats that he had, and it's like, your Arthur is tired. Your Arthur is underweight. Your Arthur is this. I'm sure this has got to be some glitch with like the Rockstar thing. Surely they're having me on right now. And no, they were not having me on. And I slowly became, it's like, oh, Arthur's doing a little bit of a cough there. And I was playing with my partner. I was like, did you see that? This is a little cough. And they were like, yeah, that was a little bit of a cough. And lo and behold, the big reveal. And when you get to Saint Denis, he goes to the doctor's office, and the guy's like, yeah, kind of not looking good. And instant trauma flashbacks to watching Tombstone and seeing Val Kilmer on that bed of ice. And I just knew that was going to be coming at some point, although obviously, Arthur does not die in those pleasant circumstances. But yeah, that plot twist completely blew my mind. I couldn't believe that we were just like, at that point in the story, it was like, yeah, no, this is Arthur's fate sealed. You've now got to do, you've only got so much time to make amends for his, what he's done before, and, really go out guns blazing. I thought it was a genius move. I mean, I hate Rockstar for making me cry at the end of the game. R.I.P. Buell, you were a real one. But yeah, no, that plot twist. 6-shooter. Blew my mind.